All right, good morning, everyone. So this video is pertaining to the Bleach lab, which is what we're going to be doing this week. And the Bleach lab is where we're going to determine the percent of sodium hypochlorite in commercial bleach. And so we're going to do this through a means called redox titration. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go look at the lab manual for a couple minutes here. So in the lab, we need to understand basically what's happening in the reaction. So in bleach solution, they take chlorine and mix it with sodium hydroxide, and that ends up forming the sodium hypochlorite. And so the sodium hypochlorite is the main ingredient in bleach. That's what makes bleach bleach. And so we're going to look into just store-bought bleach, and we're going to figure out how much of this is actually in the solution. And so we're going to do this by what we call an iodometric titration. An iodometric titration is just a redox reaction, and so we're going to be reacting this hypochlorite ion with potassium iodide ions. But we have to do it under very specific conditions because the iodine that's produced is not a very stable compound in solution, and it typically just falls out and precipitates. And we don't want that precipitation to occur because our goal here is to then titrate the iodine that's in solution with the thiosulfate to form the iodide complex itself in the final product. And so to do this, to alleviate the issue with the iodine precipitating out, what we do is we make a very acidic solution with a hydrochloric acid, and this solution that's formed then creates what we know as a triiodide complex, and because the iodine reacts with some of the iodine that's left and forms this complex is a much more stable in solution. It dissolves readily into solution, and then we take the thiosulfate and we titrate against that amount that's in the solution. And so this first series of reactions that we do are the foundation, and you do that in the beginning of the experiment. Now in the burette that you're going to set up, you're going to put the thiosulfate into the burette, and you're going to titrate the solution that you made, the triiodide complex, and until you get to an endpoint. And so now the iodine itself, just to give you some idea here, this is a colored solution, by the way. So you're going to form this really dark red-brown colored solution, and you're going to start titrating it with the thiosulfate. And the trick here is knowing when to stop the titration so you don't over-titrate. And so what we're going to do as we get closer to this, so that red-orange color that you see in the beginning is going to be titrated slowly until where you get to this lighter yellow colored solution. And when you get to that yellow colored solution, you have to really go slowly because you're getting to the end of the titration. So to know where the end of the titration is, we're going to put an indicator because our eyes will not be able to actually detect the iodine that's in the solution. But with the starch being put into the solution, it creates this complex of this really dark black, dark blue colored solution. And then you're going to titrate dropwise to the point where that color dissipates and goes away completely. Now keep in mind, starch itself is going to make the solution cloudy. So you have to be careful in understanding the difference between what the solution looks like with the starch only and what it looks like with the complex, the dark blue solution. And so you're actually going to do 4 titrations of this. If you can get the first titration done correctly, then you can use the data from it. But the thing is that I always call the first titration your scout titration, because that's the titration that you learn from. And so once you go in and doing the second and then the third and then possibly the fourth, you'll become experts. You'll know exactly what to look for when it comes to the solution. Now, one of the things you need to be careful with is that you are working with bleach and you're working with a strong acid, and you want to take extra precaution while working with those chemicals. If you want to wear gloves, we do have gloves up in the front. But the first solutions you're going to make is you're going to make that dark red brown complex with the HCl, and you'll do that within the first few steps in the procedure. Now, while one partner is doing this, the other partner can be working on the thiosulfate. You can get the burette. You'll pre-rinse it with the thiosulfate, and then you'll fill it up with the thiosulfate. Now, normally we would standardize the thiosulfate, but we don't have time to do that in this period, so we're just going to assume that the concentration is 0.10 molar, and that'll simplify the calculations too in the end. But for right now, and all intrinsic purposes, we're going to keep it simple at 0.10 molar. So you need to know that molarity of the thiosulfate. So again, once you've gotten your solutions made, you've got your burette set up, then you go through the titration. You're going to perform that scalp titration to the end point, and then you'll repeat that 3 more times if you need to do it 3 more times. So now, as far as the calculations are concerned, we're trying to figure out what the percent mass of the sodium hypochlorite which is in solution. And so to do this, we have to take into consideration a couple things here. The first thing here is the stoichiometry of the reactions, and so I'm kind of pointing out these 3 reactions. So you'll want to have these 3 written down somewhere, or print them off, but you need them in line because that's the succession that they go in. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the stoichiometry, and you're going to figure out exactly how many moles of the thiosulfate react with the hypochlorite that's in solution. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort of jot out the roadmap that you would figure that out in. And so you have 1 mole of the ClO minus. So we're going to compare the ratio for the hypochlorite to the iodine. So the ratio would be 1 mole of ClO minus to 1 mole of the I2. Remember, we're trying to figure out the mole ratio between the hypochlorite ion and the thiosulfate, which is what you're reacting with. And so from this, we're going to use the triiodide complex. So 1 mole of the I3 minus to 1 mole of the I2. And then from there, we can see that there are 2 moles of the S2O3 for every 1 mole of the I3. All right. And that will get you to the number of moles of the thiosulfate. All right. Now, so that gets the mole ratio. Now, the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to figure out what the volume of the S2O3 2 minus that was used. All right. Now, remember, you're going to have 2 to 3 trials, 3 trials technically. So what we're going to do is you're going to take that, and you're going to average the volume of the thiosulfate used. Okay, so now you can go through and do this calculation 3 or 4 times, but we're just going to average it to keep it simple for you guys. Okay, so then you take the volume of this, and now keep in mind that this is in milliliters, so you need to make sure you convert this into liters. And then you're going to take that and you're going to multiply it by the molarity, which we talked about a minute ago. All right, and that gets you into the number of moles of the thiosulfate used. Okay, so then now we're going to take the number of moles of the thiosulfate used. All right, and we're going to use the mole ratio that we just learned up here. All right. So we know that it's 1 mole of ClO minus, but the question is how many moles of the S2O3 2 minus are there? So we're going to use that ratio that you determine up here to figure out the number of moles of the ClO minus, the bleach, the hypochlorite. All right. Now, in the process of this, we need to figure out what the molarity of this is. So you're going to take the number of moles that you just calculated, and you're going to divide it by the volume of the diluted bleach used. And just to be frank with you, when you go back and you look at this in the procedure, it'll tell you that you're going to measure out 25 milliliters of the diluted bleach. So if you measure this out, then that is what becomes the volume of the diluted bleach here. But keep in mind that you need to always make sure you convert your milliliters into liters when you're doing these types of calculations. All right. So what we do is we've got 2 steps here. All right. So the first step is the calculation of the moles. The second step is determining the molarity of the hypochlorite in solution. Now, the third step is to take out the dilution factor, because keep in mind that we took a small amount of the bleach and we diluted it to that 100 mils, and that you see in the procedure. Take out the dilution factor so that we know what the actual concentration is of ClO minus. Okay. So that's M1 V1 equals M2 V2. All right. We're trying to solve for our M1 here because that was the original. So we took 5 milliliters of the original bleach, and we just calculated the molarity up above here. So this is the molarity of the ClO minus, and then we know we made it into a 100 milliliter solution because we use that 100 ml volumetric flask. And so what we're going to do is we're going to solve for M1. All right. So just rearrange that and solve for M1, but make sure you use the molarity of the hypochlorite that you calculated from above. Okay. And then the last thing you do is we're going to go through a series of calculations here. So you're going to take the molarity of I'm just going to call this M1 because of what we have here. So we're going to take the original molarity of the solution, and we're just going to go through this series of steps here, and this will get you into the percent of the hypochlorite. Notice that we have the molar mass of this as well. All right, and then we're going to times it by 100. This gives you the percent mass of the hypochlorite that's in solution. And the sodium is a spectator ion again, so it's not necessary, but it is important for the molar mass of this calculation. So, and then finally, you're going to figure out the percent error of this, and so I will let you know of what the actual percent is of what the percent mass is in the bleach solution at the end of lab tomorrow. So, but this is the basics of this, and so of course you will need to complete the post-lab questions that are on the last page, and then submit your stuff before the due date. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.